right, welcome to Boston local rock and roll television Sonic Lobotomy. This is TJ Welch, and today we have the legendary Gangrene.
Hey, thank you, TJ. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, my name's Chris Doherty, and I started this band Gangrene when I was 14 years old. And we've gone through, many changes, but right now this lineup is the most solid it's been in years. I thank these guys every week when we practice, thank you for getting me out of the house and allowing me to come here and sing these songs that I wrote. I love these guys, and I got a great band, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you to TJ. this is real. Stand their own, mother in the back. They wear that jean back. Nice eagles. Murder. You people. Murder. Nice eagles. The murder. Johnny, do it. Triple down yesterday. All the criminals have escaped, and our government built another bomb. Liquor stores be closed, and all the street people froze, and our government built another bomb. She said, shut up. She said, shut up. Oh God, can't you keep it down? What's the Due to a very overwhelming request, we added that to the set recently. Let's drink some beer. Let's drink some beer. Let's drink some beer. Everybody, let's drink some beer. 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 Let's drink some beer.
Let's drink some beer. Let's drink some beer. Let's drink some beer.
Okay, we've had a great time here at Sonic Lobotomy today. Now it's time to say goodbye. We got one more song left. And because we're here so early in the day, we might go out afterwards and make it another wasted night. Another night out of town. My last call, I've been falling down. With all the beer they give you for free. Show's so screwed up, I can't even see. Another wasted night. I'm on the ground. I have a too. I know it's cold outside. Don't care. All you gotta do is every time you feel that cold, it ain't nothing but a party. Nothing but a party. Nothing but a party. Ain't nothing but a gangrene house party. I know it's cold outside. Don't leave it to be satisfied. All you gotta do is move. Every time you feel that move, it ain't nothing but a party. Nothing but a party. Ain't nothing but a party. Nothing but a house party. I said roll it, smoke it, look it, nothing but a party. Ain't nothing but a party. Ain't nothing but a party. Nothing but a party.
Today we had a wonderful episode with the legendary band that's been around since the early 80s, Gangrene. And we have Mr. Chris Doherty, the founder of the band. And what an episode. Thanks for coming on my show, Chris.
You can, TJ, it was our pleasure. It's so much fun to come out here and play. I mean, I love playing these songs that I have since I was a little kid. And to be able to do it in this forum was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is kind of a comeback for you. I mean, there's been a few years gone by without Gangrene. Tell us about it.
I mean, who's counting? But on October 28th, 2018, I suffered a catastrophic, life-changing event. I had a stroke, which paralyzed my left side. And I couldn't, I can't play guitar anymore, and that was the one thing in life that I love more than anything else, except my children. But I was in a hospital bed for 3 months, and I came up with a few ideas, and this mic stand right here was one of them.
Let's get a picture of that mic stand. It's brilliant. That was the centerpiece for today's performance. Was today the debut of the mic stand?
It was, yes.
Beautiful.
I conceived it, and Mike came over my house Wednesday night, and we put the empties together on that. I know I drank that one and that one.
Yeah, there's a couple 24 ounces there and a few 16. It's So tell us about the latest incarnation of Gangrene. How did it come together?
Mike Brennan and I, who Mike plays in the band Worm, have become great friends. He promoted a show we played at the Scene Out in Hollow back in the summer of 2018.
That was one of the last shows I think you played before you struck.
Yeah. And
It went well. I mean, it was a great show, and you clicked with them, right?
yeah.
Sold out.
And then when my benefit came around, they opened the show.
Yeah.
So that's, something I can never forget. And always will treasure that my friends came together for that show, and it really helped me. I lost the ability to work, so I needed cash, and I've never had a benefit before, and that got me through a lot of like tough months.
Yeah, I remember there was a benefit at the Paradise for you, and at that point you were in a wheelchair. You're still recovering, and Springer played, and Jerry's Kids, and all these bands from the classic hardcore days of Boston.
Yeah, and the outlets played. The outlets were amazing that night.
Dogmatic's Tree.
Dogmatic's Tree, great Boston bands. Boston is a city where the bands stick together. There's solidarity and support. Yeah, and that was a wonderful show. And before that, I remember seeing you at the reunion for the hardcore reunion about 10 years ago at Club Lido in Revere. Remember that one?
Surprisingly, I do. That was a really fun night.
Yeah, DYS played and Jerry's Kids, and that was just a trip down memory lane. Let's introduce I'm going to hand the mic over to these guys, and we can introduce the members of the band that are backing you now as Gangrene. Here we go.
My name's John. They call me Johnny Boy. I'm a proteinaholic.
My name's Josh. They call me Thrash, and I'm a boobiaholic.
My name's Chris, and I started all this mess, and they call me an alcoholic.
My name's Mike. I like boobies.
My name's Nick, and I have nothing clever to say.
All right. Do you remember, Chris, when you first started out when you were 14? How did you stumble across this music? You grew up in what, Braintree?
Well, TJ, that's funny you say that, because people ask me all the time where I'm from. And I never say I grew up in Braintree because I still haven't grown up. I lived there from birth until I was 17.
And how did you get turned on to punk music? Now, when did you first start playing guitar?
When I was about 12. And then, the original lineup, myself, Mike Dean, and Bill Manley, we just kind of all came together. Mike and Bill lived close to each other. I used to take the school bus home every day, go run in the house, grab my guitar, and walk over to either Mike or Bill's house, who's the place we were practicing at that day, and then walk home. So I walk like 2 miles every day, to and fro each way with my guitar. It was all uphill too.
And how did you get hooked up with the Boston, Not L.A. album? By that point, you were playing out. You had a bunch of songs.
Yeah. Mike Treese had from Modern Method Records, had the vision of just putting something together with the Boston hardcore scene that was going on. And we were fortunate enough to be part of it. You're a 14-year-old kid and someone says, hey, you want to be on a compilation album of all Boston bands? We'll pay for the studio time. Well, what do you say? Of course, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, it came out great. I mean, you were tight and fast. There was really no precursor for that music. You were making it up as you went along.
Yeah.
Good stuff, though. It's and then over time, you slowed it down a bit. You got a little more rock and roll. You wrote Alcohol. Tell me about that. When did you write that song, and what does that song mean to you?
It's probably the most famous Gangrene song there is. And I wrote it, I think, I was like 19 years old. We recorded it. It was on jukeboxes everywhere in the city, and I think it's up to like 19 different bands have covered that song, which is a compliment in itself right there.
Including a little-known band called Metallica, right?
Yeah. First time I met Metallica, I met James, and I said, hey, you guys used to cover one of my songs. And he's like, I never covered one of your fucking songs. I was like, and then later I was hanging out with Lars. I was like, yeah, no doubt about it, can't live without it. He goes, yeah, I love that song, man. You wrote that? I was like, yeah. He goes, dude, it's a fucking great song.
Yeah. Damn.
He was cool. James was a total fucking dick.
Yeah, that's how rock and roll is, At least you're a good guy, So after that, you continued to develop as a band and write songs like Skate to Hell and put out more and more albums. You're very prolific. You toured Europe several times, and you're actually going back to Europe this year, right? Can you tell us about that?
And we're going to run into you at the Rebellion Fest, right?
Yeah, we're playing that at the same festival together, the Welsh Boys and Gangrene, and we'll have to have a beer in England, right?
Oh, you kidding?
That's nice. So you got some good comeback gigs planned. You're going to Europe. How about new material? You writing new stuff?
Constantly.
Yeah, you can't stop it, right? It's like a faucet. Good. Do you have any plans of putting it out? Will you put it out on with like Curtis on Tang or?
Yeah, we got some studio time booked at the end of this month, just to do like maybe enough songs for an EP, and we've got lots of unreleased tracks too, so we put something good together real quick.
That's awesome. Do you plan on right now you can't play guitar, but you desire to get back to playing guitar. You still keep your guitars and your amps, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's for inspiration or depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walk by a guitar in my house about 10 times a day when I have to go to the bathroom and just kind of look at it and say, don't worry, someday I'll be playing you.
Well, you know what? You're going to get it back. It's coming back. And right now you got a great guitar, two guitar players.
Yeah, and I've always said since the beginning, TJ, since the stroke, having the comeback's going to be better than the setback.
Absolutely.
And it's, I do physical therapy twice a week, and I do work at home every single day. I've got this system, I got this TheraBand, right? And I watch TV a lot, so anytime the commercial comes on, I do 10 reps with that. And if it's an auto insurance commercial, I do 15 because I hate those commercials.
But, you're not playing guitar, but you have an incredibly talented lead player here.
Oh yeah, Johnny is awesome.
Johnny, tell us about your pedigree. Where'd you come from?
I'm originally from California. I started playing guitar about, I want to say 10 years ago now. And out there, I started with like classic rock stuff, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all that type of stuff. But I soon realized after about, maybe 5-6 years playing guitar, the punk scene out there is awesome. I mean, you got Black Flag coming from there, you have the Circle Jerks coming from there, TSOL, and I got really into punk, and I just love the aggression, I love the energy with it, and I really fell in love playing punk rock, and I feel so lucky to be here with Chris and all these guys to play these songs. It's exactly my style. I love the old school stuff, and it's been fucking awesome. So I'm real grateful to be here with these guys.
You sounded great tonight, man.
Thank you, sir.
You
Appreciate
hit that wah pedal on those leads, and they cut right through.
Wah, that's like the only thing I really needed was. I was never really big on pedals or anything, but the wahs was something I always had to have. Love the sound of it, and I just always got to have that. So, yeah, man.
And on drums.
The mighty.
Yeah.
The mighty thrash.
I mean, playing those quick beats for the old hardcore songs is tough. Where did you come from?
I came from Brockton, Massachusetts.
Brockton, Rock City.
My dad was a drummer in a rock band, and he got me my first drum set when I was like 1. Whoa. So I basically grew up behind a kit, and I learned how to play before I created lifelong memories. The first time I remember doing anything with the drums, I was playing along to Kiss Alive 2 in the basement.
Oh,
and
yeah, nice. Good.
It went from there, and then I got into skateboarding, which kind of steered me into the punk rock aisle, and I got into a lot of the skate punk bands like Pennywise and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I've been playing out with punk bands since like 03 or 04. I was in a band called Clambake. I was in a band called Crime Spree. We went on a few tours. Then Mike asked me to join, or actually I was in a band with Nick called Fast Times for a little while. Mike asked me to join Worm because his drummer had passed away. And how do you say no to that? Mike's hooked my bands up countless times and never asked for anything. He's a really wonderful person for the punk scene around here.
He certainly is.
And I was playing with him, and then me and Johnny Boy created our own punk project called Jobber, and we're a wrestling-themed punk band, and we'll beat your ass for the belt.
All right. We'd love to have you on the show, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Bass.
What's up? How are you doing?
Big bottom there.
Nice. Yeah, my name's Nick.
He works out.
I'm the most recent addition to this right now, and I gotta thank Mike for that. Mike and Josh kind of reached out. Their bass player couldn't do the tour in August, and I just jumped on that opportunity. I let Mike know months ago if anything happened, just let me know, and count on me to be there. So, but yeah, I started playing bass when I was like second grade. My father was in the band The Nervous Eaters, and I think eventually he just I think he was planning ahead, where at this point he'd have me play with him to, fill in eventually. I don't know if that's fact or not, but it kind of worked out that way. So I
Who's
started.
your dad now?
Alan Hebditch.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I played with him and Steve Cataldo for a few years with the Eaters. And around that time, just seemed like everybody needed a bass player. So I was just like, well, I went from guitar, went over to bass, and just kind of been, playing for anybody that needs it. But
And TJ, your Boston music history. Steve Cataldo is one of my favorite
Absolutely.
and most awesome songwriters ever that come out of this city.
so that got me some brownie points, I think, to join this project. So, but yeah, I'm really happy to be playing with these guys.
Let's get the Nervous Eaters on this show.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
And Mike, you make it happen. You run a label. You are Mr. Punk Rock in this town.
I guess. I started Worm when I was 17 years old. Much like Chris, I'd walk down to the drummer and bass's house with my guitar. We jam. Got to tour the country a couple times at Worm. I was the bass player for Bad Movies when they existed back 10 years ago. We did a tour. I booked a ton of bands. I put out a comp called Save the C Note, which I had Gangrene on and The Freeze and bands that I had booked or played with at the C Note. And that's when I started hanging out with Chris a lot. We played his benefit at the Paradise in 2019. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, you're one of the premier guys who makes punk rock happen in this town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Mike has been taking guitar lessons from me for about 6 months now. And usually we'll have a guitar lesson on Wednesday, we'll learn a new Gangrene song, and then Thursday we'll present it to the whole band, and that's how the set just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think we're up to, 22 songs now?
Yeah.
And you have a project now that you did with the Freeze that may see the light of day sometime, where you recorded some Freeze songs and they recorded some of yours?
The Freeze recorded a couple of Gangrene songs, and I recorded a couple of Freeze songs and 9 originals. I did 11 songs before I had the stroke that year. Most of the last 4 recordings, 4 or 5 records I've put out, I played everything except the drums. And on this new one coming out, the split with the Freeze, I did, the credits are like Chris Doherty, lead vocals, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, bass guitar, keyboards, harmonic, you fucking name it, I played it.
And you're also a hell of a golfer, and you got the Happy Gilmore shirt on.
Yes, which I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite Christmas presents I ever got since I got the guitar at 12 years old. My nephew Joe gave me this shirt. I was telling TJ earlier, when this arm starts working again and I can play golf again, you better believe I'll be wearing this thing on the golf course, and people will know to look out for me. I actually do have a hockey stick shaped guitar. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but there's no denying. You look at it, it's like, that's a goalie stick. I had it custom made for me.
How's it sound?
Awesome. It's got a Pearly Gates pickup in it, was the one that Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top endorses.
Nice.
It sounds great.
Now you covered the Voices Carry, which came out as a 30 years ago. Have you ever gotten commentary from Amy Mann? Does she like your version? Or
Yes,
tell me.
well, she says she likes it better than their version, but after it was out for about a month, because Amy and I were on the cover, we got a cease and desist order from her attorney. We had to pull it off the shelves and change the picture on the front.
Well, you did a brilliant version of it today, and it was awesome. And the Jay Giles song that you ended the show with, I always do this. The band wants to quit. They're all tired and finished, and I squeeze one more song out of them. And we got Jay Giles out of you, and I love it.
Thanks. Actually, that was originally by the Showstoppers.
Oh, House Party, yeah.
Jay Giles covered it, and we covered Jay Giles covering it.
Very nice. Well done. That was awesome. I look forward to partying with you guys in England. We're going to have a blast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm so glad Gangrene is back, and you guys came on the show. Thank you.
Hell yeah, thanks for having us.
You're so glad. I am so glad. Like I was saying during the show, I love this. I'm now disabled and can't do what I used to do. Even playing guitar is just still a dream, but to put together a band like this, I can't play guitar, but I'm really proud of assembling these guys and showing them the songs and having a blast, just singing songs that I wrote, even though I can't play my guitar, but great period of my life right now. I love these guys and I love playing this music.